What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 128 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. The date today is Monday, October the 18th, 2021, 6:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. And tonight, we are watching a fan favorite, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers from 1988. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! Woo, I cracked there. Live! It's like Marty McFly. What's going on, Doc? Halloween 4 is a fan favorite. I guess maybe it's the Elm Street 3 of the franchise, the Friday the 13th 6 of the franchise, maybe. I don't know. Not for me, but but maybe for some, for sure. And Tony, I know that this was the first Halloween movie.
It is the greatest sequel of this franchise.
It is the greatest.
Greatest.
It's the greatest movie. Melania and I watch it every day. We sit down, we watch it every day. I call Stormy Daniels, she comes over, and the three of us watch it together.
And this is how I plot my revenge on Biden.
That's right. I'm plotting it now on Sleepy Joe. It's what I'm doing.
I think I'm going to take him out like Buck.
That's right.
Just throw him into some power shit.
But this is your favorite.
This is my favorite sequel.
This is your favorite sequel.
This is number 2 on my list.
This is the first Halloween movie you ever saw. Remind people out there again about this experience.
Was that so the town that I grew up in, we were notorious for competing with each other back in the day for doing house parties.
Right.
Like, that was just our thing. Like, just, you know, it didn't matter if it was a birthday. It was just like every month somebody was throwing a house party, and we're always just competing with each other. And a good friend of mine, Jen, we were at her house. For her, she was throwing her house party.
And what year is this again? Sorry.
Would be between 89 and 90.
Gotcha.
Because it was in the first year when I moved to this town. So we'll just say it had to have been late fall, because it was late fall. I do remember that.
Yeah, so probably 89.
It wasn't October. I think it was more in the November side of fall.
Okay.
It might even have been. I wonder if that was her Thanksgiving party. I'd have to text. I have to message her again. I always forget, but I think it might have been around like, because we had. I'm sure you had the same thing, Thanksgiving break, right? Like you would get like.
Yeah. Well, ours is in October, but same thing. Yeah.
Same thing in school. You get like a few days off. You know, whatever. Yeah.
That's right.
And I think Jen was throwing the party that weekend during our Thanksgiving break, and her brother was watching the movie upstairs, and it was just fluke. Like, I had to go to the bathroom. That's literally, I discovered Halloween because I had to take a piss. I mean, that's pretty much how it happened. I went to go take a piss, and then I walked past his room, and I saw Danielle Harris on the screen, and it was her backing into Michael in the store. Right. And I was just like, this is cool. What is this? You know, like, and he started to tell me, and I was like, well, I love horror movies. At that point, I had known about, you know, Freddy and Jason and Leatherface and whatnot. So I just basically said goodbye to my friends and sat there with her brother and picked up watching Halloween 4 from that point for the rest of the night, and then borrowed, like begged and pleaded, like, could I borrow this cassette and make a copy of it, and then just give it to Jen when we get back to school on Monday. And that's what I did. Brought it home, and I hooked up my mom's VCR and my VCR, which is how we used to do it back in the day, folks.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
Daisy chain them together and made my copy of Halloween 4. And I'm telling you, dude, that first copy on VHS, I wore the shit out of that tape, because I just watched that movie on repeat. And it was all Danielle. It was all Danielle. I mean, she lured me in with those, again, keep in mind, folks, I'm 10 at the time.
That's right. It's not like you're 40.
I'm in the same age bracket as her. So it was totally normal for me to be crushing on her back in 1989.
That's it.
And then, of course, obviously finding out Halloween 5 was out, and, going to the video rental place to rent 5. Then obviously renting Halloween 2, and then beginning that search for the original Halloween, and then realizing that none of the stores carried it. So I was pretty much stuck with 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then, asking questions to my uncle about the original film, because he was a big fan of the original film. But yeah, I mean, this movie, as much as I loved Halloween Kills and enjoyed it as a sequel to this franchise, it's so hard. Like, it's so when the first Halloween will always be it's the GOAT, of the franchise. Nothing's going to top it. But when it comes to this movie, 4, this is my childhood.
Of course, there's a lot of nostalgia there.
This is me coming of age,
right?
And like growing up with the franchise, falling in love with the franchise in all its faults, and there are many, and there are a lot. But yeah, there's just this movie, and I know I get it. I hear it all the time from folks and arguing with people. The mask sucks, shoulder pad. I get it. I get it.
Sure.
10-year-old Tony didn't give a shit. What I mean? 10-year-old Tony's looking at this like this is the coolest shit ever. And it introduced me to, again, at that time, all I knew was Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and a few other horror movies. Right. I didn't know who Michael Myers was, and it just
it's important to like I get that, and it's important for people to remember that it really does come down to what we're measuring, right? You can be a Halloween purist and love the first movie and abide by the principles of what Carpenter had put forward in relation to the mythology and the original intent of the character and all that kind of stuff. And if we want to get serious here, I mean, all that mythology and original intent, which I've said many times on this channel. I've said it many times on this channel. I wish I had all my videos cataloged where I've said it, but I've certainly said it many times. And anybody who's been following me for any length of time would know this. Really, at the end of the day, that it stops when we're talking about the original intent. It stops with Halloween 1. Of course, now you can include H18 and H Kills in that because that's connected to that original film, and they've gone back to that. When you want to talk about the original intent of the Myers character, certainly though these 2 new films, although it's a little, I guess there's argument to be made of how sensational it gets towards the end of Kills that maybe they're starting to deviate from that a bit, but certainly H18 was much more nuanced and gone back to the original intent and all that kind of stuff, which is great. I had no issues with that. Sure. But really, I mean, it stops after 1, and H2 totally ruins everything in H1 anyway, like really. And that's the problem is that, there's 2 ways to look at this franchise. Is that you can look at Halloween 1 as its own single thing, which a lot of people do and a lot of people don't. And then you can look at it as a franchise, right? Connected to the first movie, but it's always hard to connect things to the first movie because they were never meaning to go on anyway. But certainly it's 2 things can be true at the same time, right? You can watch it at this level for this, but then you understand intellectually that this actually exists. This part of the equation does exist, and it exists more so than the other single part, right? So that's how I've always tried to approach the franchise in terms of, if I want to rank a Halloween franchise, for example, I'm never ranking it based on original intent because because if I was there, before the 18 film, if I was, there'd be only one movie in the ranking, which would be Halloween 1. So you can't rank it from that perspective. It's impossible to do so. So you go, okay, well, how am I going to rank it? Well, I'm going to put the first one first for obvious reasons, and then I'm just going to rank the others of which ones I enjoyed, and
which ones do you go back to? Which ones do you
right, like for purely entertainment purposes. I'm not ranking how they connect to the original, because they can't. I mean, they are sequels to that original, but I'm talking about all the juicy, shit that was put forward. So, that's how I've always approached the later sequels, is if I'm going to watch 4, which I enjoy, but I enjoy from an entertainment perspective. I'm not analyzing it from the perspective of the original film, because you can't do that. It's impossible to do. It's literally impossible to do that. It is not connected in any way, shape, or form. In terms of the original intent of the mythology and the character, what Myers was supposed to be. I mean, Jesus Christ, he was burned, for God's sakes. I mean, take 2 and he's burned and his eyes are shot out and he's walking. I mean, it's crazy. Everything is fucking ridiculous. It is. And I've said that thousands of times on this channel. I have. And those of you that have been watching me long enough, who watch me on the regular, would know that. But it's always fun to watch these later sequels because, you know, it's Michael Myers. You know, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have, you know, pretty much the Halloween franchise, right? And the first Halloween I saw, I was fortunate that it was the first movie. I mean, I might be sitting in Tony's chair right now if Halloween 4 was the first one that I saw, right? But it just was happenstance that my brother Neil sat down and he showed me the first Halloween, probably in the, you know, early to mid 80s. And the reason why he liked that movie so much and he showed me that movie so much is because apparently, according to my brother Neil, it was the first horror movie he had ever watched that never gave him nightmares. That's what he said. And so he thought, and he loved The Mask and all that kind of stuff. And of course, at that age, at that time, you're not over intellectualizing things and thinking about all that stuff.
No,
that comes later in life when you learn about, you know, mythology and symbolism and cinematic language and all that kind of stuff. That comes later. But certainly at that time, that's why he showed it to me. He's 9 years older than me, but I believe I was into Freddy and Jason first. And he's like, well, you got to watch this, you know? And I was like, okay. We sat and I loved it. I thought it was great. And so I have a real attachment to that first movie from a nostalgic perspective as well. So, but, you know, had I been introduced to 4 first, I mean, Jesus, who knows, right? Or had I been introduced to H2O first, maybe, you know, I would have a love for Halloween H2O like so many people do. I don't. I think it's trash. But I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, not resurrection trash, but certainly trash. You know, it's not. It's, you know. Sure. But anyway, it's always fun to revisit this movie because it's. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of great. I will say there's a lot of great things about this movie, given the fact that they had 11 days to write the script. Aesthetically,
yeah, that's amazing.
Aesthetically, it's one of the best looking Halloween movies because it looks like October.
They did a good job with that. Yeah,
they did a very, very good job, really capturing that Midwest small town vibe with Haddonfield. Arguably one of my favorites, next to the original with Michael stalking Laurie from the Wallace house to the Doyle's house.
Right.
My second favorite suspenseful scene is, you know, the rooftop scene, which is absolutely,
it's cool.
Such a great scene, you know, with the music and everything, and Rachel lowering Jamie down.
Yeah.
Not even I'm talking like when they're at the pitch of the roof, you know, lowering her down and Michael swinging at Rachel. And I will say kudos to the filmmakers of the 2018 film for bringing some of that back. I can't tell you the last fucking time I sat there like, damn, this is fucking suspenseful. But when Michael was stalking Lindsay in the fucking park there,
that was a good scene.
And all you're hearing is just a simple thud from Carpenter's beat,
yes,
you know, that he created for the scene.
Right. And the breathing. And the breathing. I thought that, I was like, man, that is like, because you could have easily have done the shape stocks. I mean, totally, it would have worked and it would have been fine. But I was like, man, that's a really good call. You kept it very simple. And you're letting Michael, you know, you're letting Michael's presence really be felt in the scene. And I was like, dude, totally.
I was like, man, it's been a long, and probably not since seeing the rooftop scene, or I'm sorry, not the rooftop scene, seeing the original Halloween, because when I finally saw it, that was the last time that I felt any type of suspense. You know what I mean? And I've always talked about the H2 scene there where Michael's stalking Laurie, leading up to the she escapes him from the hospital elevator.
Right.
That's a great sequence. It's a great, you know, suspenseful scene. And then, you know, the rooftop scene in Halloween 4, but that scene in Kills, my mind went back to those three films. Like, wow, I haven't felt this in such a long time. And I was like, that good job, boys.
That definitely in Halloween Kills, that definitely was a highlight for that film. Now I'm torn on the film because I have mixed feelings on it. You know, I have to let things marinate a bit. But there's certain things that I do like. Absolutely. There's certain things I like about H18 as well. And actually, funny enough, I think Kills actually makes me like H-18 more. And that's not because Kills is great. It's because I'm kind of like, I think H-18 is a better movie. It's a better movie structurally. It's a better written film. I think it's got better pacing. But anyway, we'll talk about that when we do Kills soon.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, no,
but I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. It was a nice moment of suspense. It was a nice moment of suspense.
Great. Like I was just like,
yeah, it's not over. It's not like, I mean, the tension's not so thick you can cut it with a knife, but it's relative. It's like, oh, this is a nice moment. I wish we could have seen more of that. Maybe even drag that out a bit. That would have been nice.
Yeah, I just like, I mean, when you look at like the movies that you and I have, that have come out in theater when we were old enough, after 5. I mean, I can't think of or recall I mean, the hospital sequence that Rob Zombie did in 2 was a really good scene, but it's not the suspense that like Dave and I are talking about, like, the Lindsay scene in Halloween Kills, or the rooftop scene with Rachel and Jamie and Michael, or, Michael stalking Laurie from the Wallace house to the Doyle house. Like that type of suspense. Like it's been a really, really
it's part
long time.
It's the lurking and the stalking, it's the chase that just hasn't been, it wasn't, I mean, there was
in with the music. Obviously.
Right. There was a moment or two in H-18, but as soon as it began, it ended. So it was nice to see
like
that.
Allison.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, exactly. It was nice to see that drawn out a little bit in H Kills. I like that scene. I still like that scene. I've seen the movie 3 times, and each time I like that scene.
Yeah, I've seen it 4 times now, and like I loved not only that, but just the glistening of the water off of Lindsay, like
beautifully lit.
Just like, man,
that's how you're supposed to light it.
Fucking A, boys.
They're firing.
Like, really,
they're firing.
Y'all were in a zone that night. That's all I'm saying. Like, damn.
Well,
like,
they're
so good.
And it's too bad. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. They got the right look. That's what it's about. Okay, so Tony and I are paused. We're watching Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. We are paused on the screen where it says October 30th, 1988. I'm watching it for free off of YouTube, and that's just sort of where it begins. So there's no like...
what page you maybe let people know if they want to go check
if you want to, just YouTube Halloween 4, and it comes up. The page is called The Shape, and he's got 12.5 thousand subscribers. So
I'm watching it on iTunes.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's where we're paused. If you want to join us in watching Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers from 1988. And let's do this thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And to answer everyone's chat asking, did I like the movie? Yes, I thoroughly loved the movie, but we'll get more into that later on with Kills.
Yeah, he loved it. I'm torn.
I really
makes
David,
for good debate.
I texted Dave immediately afterwards, and I was just like, bro!
Makes like, yes! But you know what, though? I'm actually kind of glad that you loved it, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, because it makes for good discussion. You know? That's what's great about it.
I love this opening sequence.
Oh, it's
still probably one of
great.
Next to obviously the original opening sequence. This was just well done. The aesthetics look of Haddonfield.
Yeah, it looks like autumn for sure. Yeah,
looks like autumn. Actually, it looks like really late fall, but
yeah, more November almost. Pumpkinhead sends in $5. Thank you. Says, would it be a good idea to watch Halloween for a whole year straight for your YouTube fans? Hey, like Tony and I said last week, donate $5 million. We'll do it. $5 million super chat. I don't even think you can go above 500. Actually, I think 500 is the highest. I think. Ed, not that we were actually expecting somebody to donate that, folks. It's just we're just being silly. Edward Moody sends in $4.99. Says, "Hey Dave, were you surprised to see that Halloween Kills made $50 million at the box office?" No, not really. I mean, I had predicted between 25 and 35. 35 was my high end. And I tweeted a few months ago, I said anything over 40 is likely or is possible, I said. And I think the studios will be happy with that. And it made 50. So it's kind of in line with what I thought was achievable. I thought it would be, the high end would be 35, but it made 50. So that's great. Now, the question, though, is what is it going to be next week? Because it's not getting the same. It's more of a divisive film than H-18 is overall. Generally,
is it Ghostbusters coming out this week too?
No, that's not till November.
Oh, is it November?
Yeah. So I'm curious to see.
Is there anything coming out this week?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to look. But I'll be curious to see how it does. Just because it is more divisive than H18. So that can play a part. And we'll see how much it drops. You know, it's Halloween time. It should, you would think, you know, in theory, it should continue to do well. I mean, it's not going to make another 50 million.
Short of people wanting to drop $10 for Peacock.
Right, exactly. So we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe Halloween Kills rounds out close to 100 mil in its take by the end of its theatrical run. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, generally speaking, movies make the most money in their first weekends of release. And then it starts to drop from there. The question is, how much does it drop? So it's no surprise it made 50 million. Remember, that doesn't mean it was a good movie. It just means a lot of people went to see it. You can never judge a movie's box office intake in terms of quality necessarily. Again, nuance, generally speaking, in its first weekend, because a lot of people want to see it, and you don't know if you like it until you see it, and you can't go to the box office and ask for your money back if you didn't like it. So even if you didn't like it, your money still goes to the $50 million. You know what I mean? So we don't know yet. So a lot of people were excited about it. A lot of people went to see it. Let's see what happens next weekend. I love how he's giving some quick exposition here, just kind of, you know, bringing it together. It's a
very simple, not overdone.
No, it's not overdone. I mean, it's a little exposition-y, as I like to say, like a little like, oh, hey, by the way, and his doctor of all people shot him 6 times
and set him on fire.
Both of them nearly burned to death. You know, it's just,
he didn't set them on. He didn't set them on fire. He blew their asses up.
I mean, there's no way Michael would fucking survive. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that no one would survive, and he's barely scathed in this movie. He's got like you know, it looks like a sunburn on his hand.
Good plastic surgeon.
There you go. Plastic surgeon.
This doctor was all right. He was kind of weird.
The Michael's doctor? Like the
head guy.
Oh, the head guy of the yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. Did another super chat come in? Yes.
If you had a couple come in.
Mohammed Nabil. Thank you, buddy. Sends in 25. Again, AED. What currency is that, buddy? Hey, Dave and Tony. Love the show. Are you guys a fan of the movie Trick or Treat 2007? And Tony, who are your top 3 actors? And what is your favorite movie of each actor? That's quite the question. I have not seen Trick or Treat yet. So I still have to see that. Tony, who are your 3 favorite actors, and what movie is your favorite from each of those actors?
That's like
maybe you have to think about that for a bit.
I'll get to that. I'm gonna circle.
We'll circle back.
Circle back.
We'll circle back. We'll circle back.
I'm gonna circle back on that
for
one.
sure.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, love the score. Hold on.
No, the score.
Probably my second. Yeah, Halloween 4 score is probably my second or third.
I wish
I haven't gotten Kills yet. It was supposed to be here Friday and it's been delayed. I don't know when it's supposed to, maybe this week, I guess.
Right.
Even though I've heard the soundtrack, I've listened to it on Spotify, but I like listening to it on my turntable and just kind of like letting it marinate into my brain. But right now for me, as far as soundtrack goes, it would go 1, 18, this. I love this because I love this theme. I still have the first CD that I bought with this. I'm sorry, cassette tape that I bought with this soundtrack. That's cool. Along with the vinyl that's sitting right over there.
Right.
But yeah, Kills though, the Kills soundtrack. I'm curious to know what's going to be on the vinyl because I got the special edition, vinyl special edition, and I'm curious to see what tracks they put on there because I loved the remixes that they did of the old school music. Which I got a funny story at some point I got to share with you guys. Dave knows.
I wish when
I first heard that in Halloween Kills.
Yeah. What I wish when they were leaving the building there and you heard dun 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 dun. I wish it had lasted a bit longer before it got into the main part of it and just kind of played that for a few more beats. Now, of course, this was a scene that was reshot. I like this shot, actually, behind Jamie as she's looking out the window and you see the lightning flashing outside. It's a nice shot. Like everything, I love the cool blues. I love it was like, that's a nice shot. I love the framing.
Oh, there's
it's great.
my girl.
I love the mood. It's really nice.
Not Danielle, Ellie.
Yep. Like almost poltergeisty a little bit. Anthony Jordan, Movies and More, sends in $2, says Halloween 4 is my favorite in the franchise. Very cool. Joseph Formato sends in $5, says long time no see, Dave and Tony. 6 out of 10 for Halloween Kills for me. Well, there you go. It's in line with it. There's a lot of people that love it, a lot of people that hate it, a lot of people are in the middle.
I'm at about, actually, I'm not just saying this number, like I calculated my number based on things, and I gave it I gave certain things like a 1 out of 10. For example, I'm not going to go through the list, but I'm just going to tell you, like the kills, I gave it a 9.5. The flashback, I gave it 10. Right. Yeah. Judy Greer gave her 0. I'll just say this: the girl cannot die. Because when I watched it with Devin for the first time, because that was the third time that I watched it, I was like, okay, bro, try not to laugh when this comes up. And we busted out laughing because she can't die. She cannot die. Like, her scene is supposed to be so symbolic, and she just can't die.
Well, it was the way it was shot too.
I know, it was just so bad.
It was stylized, and it was. Listen, I mean, a lot of the movie didn't. Hey, you know what? We're gonna save that. We're talking Halloween 4 today. I'm gonna save it.
But I gave it when I totaled it up, it came to a 7.5, 7.5. Yeah. So it's a good score.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But it's not my 9.5 with Halloween 4.
No, there you go.
I take 5. I take a half a point off because of the mask.
Don't you think that the mask looks like? Well, there's when he kills Bucky and he tosses him into the thing. Bucky. He looks like Michael Jackson.
A little bit.
There's a moment where he turns and
it looks like it's on his face.
He looks like Michael Jackson. I swear to God, he looks like Michael Jackson. It's hilarious.
Now wait, hold on. Let me pay attention.
It's kind of a silly photo because it's a screen grab from the first movie.
It is.
Of course, they've done that before in films, but.
Okay, no, maybe it's the next scene, or maybe it's the other scene when Loomis is in the house and he goes up and he's flipping through all the photos that you see a young girl on the shoulders of a guy. So. Oh yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll take a look. The Devil's Eyes coming up. Sends in 449, says, hey, D&T, given the problems with H4's mask on set, imagine if they ditched the Shatner mask for this movie and stuck with the bandaged look. Thoughts? I've always thought that sticking with the bandaged look would have been really cool. That would have been very cool. Yeah. That would have been very interesting. Like if he cut holes in his eyes. Yeah, it's a cool look. Yeah, that would have been it would have been maybe dirty it up a little bit too. Yeah. That would have been cool. Yeah, it's a cool look for sure. It's a cool look on anybody. Any killer. It doesn't have to be. They could do that now. It doesn't have to be Michael Myers. You could, create a movie now with a killer that looks like that. And bandaged up. Like that. Yeah, and it's inspired. Well, wasn't Jason in the remake sort of like that? Oh yeah, he was for a little bit. They didn't do really the sack. They did more of like a rap type thing. That's right. Yeah, no, you're right. I do love this sequence. The mood of this scene is really good. Danielle obviously does a great job. The lighting on this is great. I love the split lighting on her face. Somebody needs to good jump scares. Yep. Somebody needs to deep fake the original Shatner mask from the first movie into this movie. On this? Yes. Oh my God, I would love that. Can somebody out there? I don't know. Listen, I know it's probably not. It's not like Photoshop where everybody's a bit of a whiz at that. No, now. I know it's a project. But could you imagine what if they could do that? How much this would change the movie? Well, it would make the look of Myers look better. Yeah, that's true. Certainly the way he looks would look better. Absolutely. Although it might be kind of strange to see George P. Wilbur with I'd be very curious to see how that would look with he kind of looked like what's his name? James Jude. Yeah, maybe with the height and the physique. Yeah, especially in this movie maybe. Somebody's got to get on that. Somebody has got to deep fake. You gotta get really good screenshots of the original Myers mask too. Yeah. To do that. Well, somebody has. I think I even did it a few years ago. Photoshopped the original mask onto a screen grab from this movie, and it made it look a hell of a lot better. This is Salt Lake City, Utah. This is where Halloween 4 and 5 were shot. Really? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Not within the last year. It was on the market for sale. Someone had sent it to me like, you should buy it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not that rich.
Well, if you get a $5 million super chat.
Yeah.
Joseph Formato sends in $5, says, Watch Mojo recently made a Halloween ranking video, and shockingly, H4 is at the bottom of their list. I don't know what those guys are on. The bottom. Well, I guess, again, what is the... And I know this might annoy people when I say this, but I think this is a very important distinction. What is the criteria for which they're ranking, right? It's like, and I know I brought this up before. I'm not an idiot. I know I have, but it bears repeating. When I did that video a year or two ago where I ranked the most iconic horror houses, well, what's the criteria, right? And I thought, okay, well, the criteria is going to be, what is the most recognizable house? What do I believe would be the most recognizable horror house to the average person? Not to horror fans, to the average person out there. And my number one was the Psycho House. I think you could show the Psycho House to almost anybody on the street and they know instantly it's the Psycho House. I don't think you could do that with the Myers House, especially because the Myers House was only in one movie. I mean, I know it's in part 2, but like, you know what I mean, right? So it all depends on what the criteria is. I mean, maybe they were... I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd be curious to know what their criteria was for ranking. And that puts 4 at the bottom, because I can't think of a criteria where I would put 4 at the bottom. You know, when I'm ranking the movies, if I'm ranking them connected to the original intent of the character, they all fall at the bottom, I guess. You know, but if I'm ranking it as a series and, you know, just taking it at face value, I don't think I'd put 4 at the bottom. That's kind of harsh. That's strange. Ahead of 6 and 5 and Resurrection.
Yeah. Sometimes I think people do stuff just to create controversy so that
maybe
they get their comment section going, and you know,
yeah. It's too bad that this wasn't carried over into this relationship wasn't carried over into part 5, because you
part 5 takes a big old shit on this.
Well, and look, it comes down to the writing. It comes down to the director and what he wanted to do. You know, he was given free reign, too much free reign. And it's unfortunate, but that is what happened. And, you know, you cannot just make up something and not know where you're going. I mean, you know, you take It's Me, Billy. Yes, it ends on a cliffhanger, but that wasn't arbitrarily done because we have no idea what for shock value. We did it. You know, we know where we want to go, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do it. But he didn't do that. He just put the Man in Black in there to just, you know, create some sort of mysterious subplot to kind of make people go, oh, geez, what's that? But he had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He had no idea who he was. You can't do that. The director and the writer, and sometimes they're the same person, should always know, even when the audience doesn't. Because if you don't know and your audience knows just as much as you, then you lose control that way as a filmmaker, as a writer, and as an artist. You need to be in control of the information you're releasing to your audience. And if you don't know who it is and your audience doesn't know who it is, then it's stupid. It's poor. It should never have been allowed. Hey, there's the black rotary phone from Billy. Loomis!
Good old Loomis.
I love the way he says his name here.
Loomis!
He goes, Loomis! Loomis! I love how he just knows. He just knows. All right. I think a couple others came in. I asked Mohammed Nabil, sends in 25 again. It says, hey, Dave, AED is United Arab Emirates. Very cool. Very cool. Here's another one, just in huge support of both of you in the channel. Keep being awesome, chill dudes. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very, very cool. The Dark Light sends in $5 as I realize Halloween films are very much like the same. H-Kill starts off like H2 from 2009. Flashbacks and graphic surgery on Laurie was also in H2 2009. Oh, I forgot. That's true. I'd forgotten about that. And Intel Wild, my man, sends in $5. Says, hey guys, with the main flashback, I'd give Kills a 5 out of 10, and I loved the flashback, so I don't think much of the overall film. Well, hey, you know what? It is divisive. It is divisive or divisive. I think I think the actual word is divisive, actually. I don't think divisive actually is a word, but I know people say it like that. He's on the bus. He's on the bus. This is the movie where Loomis begins his inebriation.
Yeah.
He's just starting to drink here. I don't fucking bum.
Then he gets hammered with the priest.
But he's got great lines. Look, I mean, as far as writing some great lines, he's got some great lines in this movie. Fuck, he's got an amazing line in Halloween 5. It's so unfortunate it's in such a terrible movie, and it's not in the first movie. I mean, imagine if the line, I prayed that hell would have... Oh, no, I prayed that hell would take him, but I knew in my heart that hell would not have him, or something like that. Can you imagine if that was in the first movie? Oh, my God. It's a first movie line. It's in a terrible movie. This is a good one, too.
That part of him died years ago.
Part of him died years ago.
Haddonfield. It's a 4-hour drive.
It's a 4-hour drive. If you don't have no house, I
know I will.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know
Chester, I was 10 when I first saw Halloween 4. Saw it in the fall of 89.
Here he is. Here's the guy that this is the equivalent of the Phelps guy.
Yep.
I wonder if we see that's a cool look, and we only see it.
Look.
We only see it really there.
All the blood on there and everything.
Kind of cool,
man. That would have been great.
Now we do see it. I guess we kind of do see it here at the gas station in a moment.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little more clean, though.
Yeah, you see it kind of through
I like that
kitchen
look where there's blood and it's kind of dirt, on the wrap.
Yeah. Hello.
This place is still there. Someone did a filming location.
I think it was Sean Clark. I think
might have been. It's just been remodeled.
Yeah.
And that's it. But it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's still there.
You're probably right. It was probably was Sean today.
I believe it was. Hello. You know what? There's some genuine tension in this movie. This is a good example of that genuine tension. Kind of like some voyeurism here. It's good.
Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Frank. I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew hell would not have him. It's like the greatest written line in Halloween 5. It feels like somebody just came onto the scene and snuck that in there. Like, I don't know how the rest of the movie's so bad. See, Michael didn't take his shirt, so is Michael naked under there? He's nude. Hello, this is going to be here. It's Michael. Loomis is terrible in Halloween 5. He's just terrible in Halloween 5.
Because he's probably on cocaine and alcohol at the same time.
I like the way he goes, Michael. I like the way he says that. Don't go to Haddonfield, Michael. Leave those people in peace. If you want anybody, take me. He says it like that.
I would have loved to have actually seen the violence of this scene play out. That would have been really cool.
That would have been cool, yeah. Yeah, I like this. This is
Michael.
Cool. It's cool. It's a nice cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's Abraham Lincoln on the wall behind him.
That's right. Good old Abe.
Abe. Is that a turkey in the... I'm starting to look at other things around.
There's a couple pictures of Abe behind him.
I wonder why. Abe. I wonder if that's part of the set decoration or if that was already there.
No, because he's from Illinois.
Oh, really?
I'm going to guess because Abraham Lincoln's from Illinois.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. The Dark Light sends in $5, says H-Kill, says Michael makes everyone evil and it's his plan. They say that, or do they allude to that? I don't remember that line being said. But the mob isn't doing anything as cruel or violent as Myers. I get the message, but wow. Yeah, I have to watch it again, I guess.
Donald Pleasance getting some stunt work in.
Yeah, that's totally not Donald Pleasance. That's not Pleasance leaping over that. That's not Pleasance.
No. Well, that was Pleasance falling down, but the jump.
Yeah, the jump, no. The jump, no. I should dub over some shit in this movie. Just be me. Boogeyman, boogeyman. Jamie's uncle's the boogeyman. Boogeyman.
Those costumes, though, that they're wearing, man, that's a callback to when you and I were kids.
Oh yeah, that's what those. Yeah, the plastic fucking mask with the. Yes. I
can smell it. Anyone who's mine and Dave age and is watching this scene right now, you know what I'm talking about. There is a smell to those costumes that we wore as kids.
Well, and that
plasticky,
that little white string too that always used to pop off. Fuck, that was annoying.
I think I had a Superman one. I had a He-Man one.
I had a He-Man one. Actually, I think it was a Skeletor one, I think.
I can't remember the other one that I had. There was like a couple of them that I had. But that's what we had as kids, man.
That's what it was.
I'll give the 10-year-old actress some credit, man. She did this very well. You know, kid going through some anxiety.
Yeah, I had no issues with her performance. I had no issues. I mean,
boy, here comes the debate.
Oh,
oh boy, here it comes.
I'm not even.
It is Lindsay Wallace. I don't care what you say, Dave.
You know what? Halloween.
There's
fans,
my girl Rachel. So there we go. I'm all good.
And I say this with all due respect. There's a lot of Halloween fans out there that are like Star Wars fans. Take that however you want to take it.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was like, is he gonna finish it?
But it's true.
Oh, Rachel.
Joseph Fermato sends in $5. Thanks, buddy. Says 25 years since Michael was put away and Michael still somehow knows how to drive. 25 years. Oh, you mean this 63 to 88. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, again, I mean, that's, I mean, that was part of the thing in the original film too, right? That was always sort of an issue. Now, when you read the novelization of Halloween, which is not canon, folks, because if you're going to say that the novelization of the original Halloween is canon, then you also have to acknowledge that in the novelization of the original Halloween, Michael is wearing a mask with blue eyeshadow and red lipstick. So, I mean, right. we cannot. It's just it's a novel version. The reason why the author expanded on it and went into the backstory more and paganism and all that kind of stuff is because the original Halloween, the way it's written, would be very boring as a book. So, to make it more interesting for the reader, you have to expand this and you got to fill out, the pages and things like that. But in the book, it does mention that Loomis had Michael in the back of his car or something a lot, and they allude to Michael must have just watched Loomis for years or something really dumb like that, just to justify it. I just think that I've never taken it as a mistake. I think you could take it as that, but I think it just adds to the weirdness of his character. I think it just adds to the whole, that whole mystique of his character. And they acknowledge it. I mean, yeah, they acknowledge it probably because they know that, hey, we should probably acknowledge this or it's going to even look a little more weird. And it's like, for Christ's sake, Sam, he can't drive Hatfield's 150 miles away. He can't drive a car. Well, he was doing very well last night. Maybe somebody out here gave him lessons. I mean, it is like, yeah, well, how does he know how to drive a car? It just adds to the mystique of his character, I guess. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. The Devil's Eyes. The Devil's Eyes sends in $4.49, says, imagine if they kept the hospital gown on Michael too, flashing some cheek every now and then. That'd be... Can you imagine if Michael never wore a jumpsuit? He just had the hospital gown. It's like his penis is hanging out. Got peanut butter on my penis.
Oh, man.
Rachel's the girl next door. She's the good girl. Yes, I believe it was Sean Clark because Sean went to this store as well, and it's
It did. It was empty.
No, it was just it's still there, but it's it's rearranged. It doesn't.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. It doesn't. The layout is different. Yeah, it's been remodeled.
And there were some things that they actually built in just specifically for the movie.
Correct. That's right.
That's not actually in the store.
That's right. Yeah, it was Sean Clark. He was posting a bunch of this stuff quite a bit not too long ago, and
there it is.
There it is. Not quite the same, but certainly a modernized version of. Well, for this time.
For 80s, anyways.
Yeah.
Rachel, get your hands off my Kool-Aid, bitch.
Get your hands off my Kool-Aid, bitch.
Fucking Brady. You're gonna get your neck snapped.
Fuck off, Wade. What's Brady doing now? He looks like he should be on like General Hospital with Tony Moran. He kind of looks like Tony Moran a little bit back.
Yeah,
he does.
He looks like he looks like the dude you're gonna see on Chris Hansen's show.
Yeah. No, but think of what Tony Moran looks like. Not now. What Tony Moran looked like back then, back in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, I can see it.
He looked
Tony Moran's kid.
Tony Moran was a handsome dude, man. He was a handsome guy. And he kind of has that angelic sort of Tony Moran look to him. Brady could be Tony Moran. Like, he could be his brother, and I'd buy it.
Maybe Brady is Michael.
Ooh, from a certain point of view. Maybe he is. Maybe he is, ladies and gentlemen. Geeked Out Turtle Fan 40 says, wouldn't it add more to his mystique if Michael just knitted a sweatshirt for no reason? No, I don't think it would, because I think that is a little too silly and unnecessary. Driving a car is practical, right? It's logistical. There's motivation for his character to do so.
Have you seen the still photos that have been surfacing lately too of this scene shot of George P. Wilbur in the mask standing behind Danielle Harris?
No,
I don't know if it was her that shared. Somebody shared it with me not too long ago. It was really cool because I had never seen it before. But it was, you know what? It was in the Sean Clark video because the guy had taken pictures.
And there you go. He pulled
out the frame. He pulled out a frame that he had of still images of the movie, and you see George P. Wilbur in the background with Danielle Harris in front of him.
Right.
That's where it was.
Okay. All right.
I'm like, dude, you need to get that shit on the internet so we can see that.
I don't know why. A lot of people love this character that ends up picking up Loomis. I forget his name, but the
drunk priest,
the religious guy in the train. Yeah, I'm like, they should have him in a movie, and I'm like, don't give a shit.
Do a spinoff of him. Why not?
I think they should do a spinoff of these three people right here.
Absolutely.
100%.
The cheerleaders of Haddonfield.
Yes, I want to know. I want to know what happened. I want to know what happened to them. What happened to them? Were they killed?
Where'd they go?
Yeah, what happened?
Where were they driving off to? Get in here, old man.
Get in here, old man. Loomis was good in this movie, though. I mean,
he was.
He feels sort of like a progression of the character, I guess.
I've said it before, and I'll defend it. It's a solid sequel. I mean, yes, you have to suspend your disbelief on the whole burn thing from 2. But once you get through that part of it, it's a solid.
Well, you see, and that's what it comes.
Shaking his head.
Yeah, I know, but that's what it comes down to, right? When you look at this as what it is, right? It exists. It's a sequel in a Halloween franchise that is no longer, even though the first movie is canon. The mythology and the intent that Carpenter had created, that's gone, right? So you can't compare that. It would be silly to talk about that in this film, or to compare that, or to even wonder where it is, because, well, that's just ridiculous. It doesn't exist. So you can only measure this for what it is. And as far as franchise sequels go, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's one of the better Halloween sequels, for sure, in terms of being what it is. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. When you want to look at it for, okay, well, we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to do this, this, and this. Yeah, well, it is. That, I think that's why it's liked a lot.
Oh, you're hunting it.
You're hunting it, ain't you?
You're a pilgrim.
Maybe this is Charlie Bowles.
Maybe it is.
What if it's Charlie Bowles? Folks in the chat room, what if this is Charlie Bowles? Huh? I don't know.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Can Carpenter get the rights back like Miller?
I don't even think he wants it.
No, and I don't think. Well, no, because Carpenter wouldn't want to do anything with it, right?
Yeah. I think he's done doing stuff.
And Carpenter
making music and that's it.
Well, yeah,
smoking his weed and playing his
and he gets a very handsome check by being executive producer, and he would get a anytime anybody ever makes a Halloween movie officially, he'll get a check.
Yep.
Because he created
doesn't have to work.
Right. So I don't think he cares. Why? Why would he need to get the rights back? For what purpose?
I think, and I can see where he's coming from, because I wouldn't want the whole business side of movie making is just a pain in the ass. And I know he doesn't like that part of it. He loves getting the check, but
right.
it's the business side of it. And he's talked about that,
right.
And doing, big studio projects and whatnot. I just wish he had gone more back into the independent stuff and done more. It doesn't have to be horror, just could be whatever independent type movies he wanted to do. But he just, I don't know. To me, I just feel like he got a bad taste in his mouth in his last go around, and he was just like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
Yeah, there could be that too. I think Carpenter just doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
He's a unique fella.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. And like Tony said, he doesn't need to work ever again for the rest of his life. He can just live off the royalty checks. Sound like I said the royalty chicks.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's just like, whatever.
That's it.
Yeah. And anytime someone starts asking him like deep, hard questions about the film, he's just like, whatever. That's how usually.
He's a whatever. Oh yeah, like just watch an interview with Carpenter with somebody talking to him about movies.
The movie, and you start getting deep into the Halloween movie.
Oh my God,
lore of it, and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, now here it comes.
It's Michael. Maybe it's Michael, the one who picks up the photo, and it's not Loomis.
Oh yeah, Loomis doesn't pick up any. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. So,
all right, so there's Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
And it says "Mom at 17."
Mom at 17.
Okay, another picture of Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See, there's young Michael.
There's young Michael,
but there's a girl on top of young girl on a guy's shoulders right there. You see in the background that he's picking up.
Oh yes, yeah.
So that would be Jamie's father. Whoever that dude is. Now, that's definitely not Lance. Okay.
No. Well, it's probably a real photo of it might be a real photo of Danielle Harris and her father. I mean,
her father in real life.
That might
probably. Yeah.
It might be. Because it looks like an 80s photo. It doesn't look doctored to look like an 80s photo. It looks like an 80s photo.
I love this part. Hold on. This is one of my favorite
6 bodies, Sheriff! A fueling station in flames! I'm telling you, Michael Myers is here in this town. Yeah, this is a great line. This is good. This is a good line.
That's impossible. Michael Myers is an invalid.
He's here, Sheriff.
He's here, sir.
Why?
10 years ago.
He's riling up. He's getting ready.
He tried to kill Laurie Strode.
He's getting ready.
Now he wants her daughter.
He's firing up. The engines are warming up.
Are you talking about Jamie Lloyd?
Wherever she is, that little child is in mortal danger.
Myers has been locked up since before
Here it comes.
she was born. He's never laid eyes on her.
6 bodies, Sheriff! That's what I've seen between here and Richmond. A filling station in flames. I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this town. He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
I remember seeing
Great
that
moment.
Promos.
Yeah. He knew how to sell it. I mean, the franchise,
the desperation of trying to get the sheriff.
Yeah.
It's almost like without saying it in so many words, like, I went through this with Brackett. Please don't put me through this again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he's here.
Right. Yeah.
Take what I'm saying seriously. Like, fuck.
Can you imagine if he was like, he throws up onto the counter?
Collapses.
Yeah. Meeker's giving him CPR and then he throws up in his mouth. No.
What I want from a Halloween movie, I got you all beat. I want a Ted Hollister film.
A Ted Hollister film.
Shit, Earl. It's Ted Hollister.
No.
Leading up to the moment when he gets blasted.
Listen, I want
to know what Ted Hollister was doing behind that bush.
I want this old lady here that's giving Jamie candy. I want a spin-off with her. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then there's
what was this lady doing?
Exactly. And then there's one moment in that movie, in that scene, where we see little Jamie come to the door and she gives her candy.
Absolutely. Now, I always love how the dude who was a douche to her earlier is now like, hey, that's a really cool con costume.
Yeah. It's because
you're a douchebag to me earlier in the afternoon, but now you're telling me I look cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I think this is actually not. Well, no, is it a house or is it a museum? I can't remember in Sean's video. In real, this house that they're at.
Oh,
right now,
yeah. I think might be a museum now. I'm not sure. I don't know for sure. But yeah, there is something. Yeah.
It's not like a house. I mean, it's a house, but it's not like someone's living in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's something. I can't remember now.
Yeah, it's it's a place of business. It's something. It's something. No, you're right. The Unknown sends in $4.99, says, D&T, how different do you think H4 and the rest of the series would be if Sam Loomis never came back after H2? Well, very different. Very different. Obviously. I mean, he was the heartbeat of when Halloween turned into a franchise, it moved away from Carpenter's original intent and suddenly became just a, rudimentary, and I'm not, if you love it, that's great. I'm just saying that when it turned into a franchise, Loomis was the, helped ground it to some degree. And he was sort of the voice.
He was the anchor.
Yeah.
He really was.
For sure. So without him would be weird. Unimpressive Media sends in €20. Thank you very much. Says, great show so far. I was a bit let down with kills, but perhaps some of that disappointment stems from the couple next to me in the theater constantly laughing and talking. Have you guys any
my brother,
any annoying audience member memories?
Yeah.
For sure.
They actually had my brother. There was a fight that broke out at their theater.
Wow. I heard.
I watched it at home.
I
watched it at home, and yeah.
Somebody in the comment section of one of my videos recently said in their theater somebody took a shit, and it stunk up.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The entire theater. Honestly, that they had to evacuate the theater.
In this day and age, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm like, took a shit, and it reeked through the whole theater.
You know what the sad thing is, Dave? It's not even like it's people our age. It's a variety of age ranges. And when I see people our age doing it, I'm like, really? Like,
yeah.
You know better. You know what I mean? Like, you're not a kid anymore. I'm not saying if you're a kid, you should be doing it either.
No,
but
I know what you mean.
Like, that's why I think that was another huge factor to my enjoyment with Kills, because I was able to sit on my couch with my fucking bag of Cheetos and soda and fucking kick back and enjoy it.
I get it.
Until I spilled my Cheetos and soda all over the place.
The only
I really did.
Yeah. The only, I mean, there's probably been a bunch of them, but the one that comes to mind immediately was when I was in the theater watching the first Insidious movie. And I was killing time. I was in Toronto. It was in between voiceover sessions. So I decided to go see a movie, and I went to see Insidious, and I loved it. I thought it was a great film. But when I was in the theater, it was me, and because it was a matinee, there was just me and maybe a few people behind me. And there was this group of people that would kick the back of my chair, and they knew what they were doing. They were trying to get a rise out of me. And now I should have George Costanza'd it. Obviously, for those of you that are not old enough to know what that means, there's an episode of Seinfeld where George stands up and turns around and yells at the people behind him. I should have done that, really, and I didn't, because I thought it would have been more. I thought it was more creepy and effective if I didn't acknowledge it. Like, why is this guy not acknowledging how hard I'm hitting his chair? Like, they were hitting it hard. Every time there was like a jump scare or something, they'd hit the back of my chair and whatnot. And trust me, I want to turn around and say, "You hit the back of my chair one more time, I'm going to kick the ever-loving shit out of you." Like, I really was at that point, but I was just breathing and breathing and breathing. So that was annoying. That was really annoying. And then at the end, I just sat there to watch the credits, and you can kind of hear them going like, "Holy fuck, what's going on? This guy's," it's like I was a dummy or something. So I kind of played into it a bit, but that was fucking annoying.
Bucky! I want a backstory of Bucky too, leading up to this moment.
I think Bucky and Myers should have a buddy cop movie. Absolutely. Or
not a buddy cop movie, an odd couple.
This is where his mask looks god awful.
Yeah.
One of the moments in this movie, not necessarily there, it's a little too far away, but when he steps up here, he's got kind of like a, it's absolutely terrible, but it's not bad there because of, the lighting and whatnot. It's more after he throws Bucky into the fucking thing, and just as at the tail end of the bzz, he just looks like Michael Jackson to me. I know that he may not to some others, but
so long, Bucky.
Just tossed him into a transformer.
Like a transformer. Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense narratively of why the power goes out in the town. So it's justified, which is good. Oh yeah, I guess you didn't really see it. It kind of was a quick shot. I guess you have to find it on Google Images. When you find it on Google Images, I think he looks like Michael Jackson. Let me see if I can find it for everybody. This is so bad. All right, let me see here. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. Comes up pretty fucking quick. I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to bring this in here. And I'm going to get people to be like, Dave, you're being mean to Michael Jackson. I'm not being mean to Michael Jackson at all.
Dave.
I like Michael Jackson's music. Where is it? There he is. Okay, folks, don't you think this looks like Michael Jackson? I mean, from a certain point of view, I'm seeing a little MJ, not 80s MJ because he was still fairly dark, but maybe like, black and white MJ, like, heal the world MJ, like early 90s maybe or something. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I remember I made a post like that and it didn't go over well. There were so many people, and I'm like, fuck off, get out of here, you sensitive pieces of shit. Like, grow up. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. People are like, like, get out of here. I don't have time for your shit. It's nonsense.
Rachel?
Rachel? What about Rachel?
I don't know. She keeps saying Jamie. I'm just saying Rachel.
Oh.
I'm talking as if like she can hear me.
Now,
Rachel?
When I did a video, maybe it was a year or so ago, I can't remember, where I ranked, oh, thanks, Frank. Timestamp is 44 minutes and 30 seconds.
We are cooking into this movie.
Yeah. We're at the scene, although it depends on how you're watching it because, well, if you had the studio logos at the beginning, it might be a bit further. Yeah. What's your timestamp, Tony? Might be more accurate.
45, 11, 45, 12, 45, 13, 45, 14, and climb.
Go with Tony's. Because his is actual a digital copy of the film. Mine's
just iTunes
on YouTube. Yeah. So go with Tony's, not mine. I believe, and I think a lot of people see this too, Tony. What do you think? I think
that I can fly. Yeah.
Yeah. That too. I believe you could swap out. You could put Heather Langenkamp in the role of Rachel, and you could put Ellie Cornell in the role of Nancy in the first Elm Street, and it works.
It works. It does.
They're
very similar.
Very similar. Girl Next Door, sort of. They have a similar look, sort of that kind of. But similar characters as well in terms of their personalities and they have agency as well and they have good motivation and they
got to be pretty close in age, right? I mean, the movies are only 4 years
probably
apart.
Yeah, maybe maybe
I don't know how old Ellie would have been when they did. What's crazy? That right there,
it does look more.
That looks more like the Myers mask. It really does.
It does,
from the distance.
It does. Yeah. I have to admit it. It does. That's the guy pretending to be Myers in that one shot.
The first shot.
That's right. First shot. Not that one.
Dude.
Not that one. No.
Not
this guy. The other one by the house, next to the house. Yeah, from a distance,
looks really close.
It looked like H1 almost. Him
right there. Yeah.
That looks fucking great. Yeah, it does.
It's just the way they did the hair. They kind of did it like the H1 hair. Or it also could be the way the mask is fitting on his face. On his face
could be that as well. Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a good. It did, and I've always thought that. Every time I've watched this movie, I look at that and I go, that looks really good. I don't know if it was accidental, but it certainly
casted that guy.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
Come in, Pierce.
Yep.
Where are you, Pierce?
Hey, Pierce, come in, Pierce, you damn some bitch. Some bitch. I would have
got a police force.
That's right. It's too bad we didn't see this massacre at the police station.
No, I know. There's a few moments in this movie that I wonder if they did or they didn't.
Right.
I get it. Theater of the mind. You got to figure out what was going on here was probably fucking total chaos.
Right.
But I would have liked to have seen it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of, again, we're examining it from a franchise. If this was supposed to be, if they were following the original intent and the original, they obviously wouldn't, you wouldn't do that. That'd be too violent. But we're in franchise mode right now. We're in here. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, that, if you get into the franchise mindset, you think to yourself, well, yeah, I mean why not show it?
What are we dealing with here? Evil.
What are we dealing with here? Evil dies tonight.
Oh, God.
Evil dies tonight. Right, Bracket?
I know it. You started it now because here it comes in the chat room.
But can somebody please tell me? Oh, hang on. I have one question about H-Kills. I wasn't quite sure. I was a little confused. Was Evil supposed to die tonight? I didn't understand it. I didn't get it.
I had to make a phone call.
It wasn't clear to me.
Ask Devin again, hey, was Evil supposed to die tonight or tomorrow?
Right, exactly. It just wasn't clear.
Or was it supposed to die on Christmas or New Year's?
That's right.
Yeah, that definitely was an overused line.
Well, that and mentioning 40 years ago every 5 seconds.
40 years.
They said 40 years. Everybody was saying 40 years ago. 40 years ago. 40 years ago. 40 years ago.
40 years.
Stop it. You just need to say
how many years? 40?
Yeah. Oh, we'll have lots to say about it. Yeah, the chat room's already doing it. Evil dies.
Someone sent in a chat, or maybe made a comment, and I agree with them that the lynch mob in this movie makes more sense than it does in Kills. Because I mean, really, when that was my one thing, and I told you that in the text. My one problem with that movie was the mob,
right?
Going after Michael. I didn't like that so much. In this, it makes sense because he did terrorize the town. In Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, you have a high body count. 16 people died. I believe that's what they say in this movie.
Yep.
So it makes sense. It makes sense that you got a mob of people going after Michael to stop him in this. In Halloween Kills, to date, when people are saying he's terrorized this town for 40 years, well, no, he hasn't. He really only terrorized you guys for one night,
right,
or two, if you want to count when he killed his sister. But really, he only killed his sister. That's not terrorizing the town. He killed his sister. So when you want to get technical on it, I mean, he terrorized them for one night.
Right. I just want to say, this movie moves, man.
It does.
The pace of this movie, it's like, it's tight. There's not a lot of fat on this thing. It just moves at a clip.
Ted Hollister dies tonight.
It's unfortunate because the line in and of itself, "Evil dies tonight," is a really good line when you just take it at face value. Yeah, and it should have just been said by Laurie. But the fact that they said it so many fucking times, it's now become a punchline, and that's so unfortunate because it actually is.
That's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate because it actually is a good line on its own. Like "Evil dies tonight." That's a cool line. But, you say any line, in a really, embellished way, not embellished way, but over-exaggerated, I guess. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for another word, but anyway. God damn it, Earl. It's Ted Hollister. Bud Gumberson sends in 567, says, little did everyone that yelled "Evil dies tonight" know. Evil, in fact, did not die that night. Yeah, hashtag Busta vanished on the job. Well, and also, too, we know it's the middle. We know there's another movie coming. So when you're watching the movie and it's said so often, it feels like, well, we know evil isn't going to die. You know, so it's a little anticlimactic. So, you know, it is what it is. But Brady, Tony Moran wannabe.
Getting it on with Kelly Meeker.
He's the Tony Moran wannabe, ladies and gentlemen. The Tony Moran wannabe.
Brady dies tonight.
Brady dies tonight. Was she supposed?
I think that's gonna become the new pun with this franchise, though. Unfortunately,
it is. It's too bad. It's too bad.
It is, because you're right. Because it is such a good line. If you only heard Lori say it that one time, perfect. That's it. Would have been perfect.
Yep, that's it.
You know,
you don't
dies tonight.
You don't need it
Leave
said.
it alone.
Yes, you don't need it said any other time. Wasn't this actress uncomfortable about this scene? Like, wasn't there debate about the topless thing, and she said no?
I thought I heard that as well too. That she was really young. That's why you don't really see much of it.
Yeah, because she didn't want to do it, or something, or she didn't want to be shown topless or something.
Can't blame women. It can't be comfortable unless you're a freaking porn star.
Well, of course.
I mean? Like,
of course.
It can't be comfortable to be on a set with like fucking
that's what people do.
40 horn dogs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Looking at your boobs.
For sure. People need to understand that it's not easy.
No,
it's not
even
sexy.
Porn stars, I give them credit, man. Like, you're on a set, even though it's not like like a movie production set, but you're still being watched as you fuck.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Those old 80s cop cars.
Yep. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh. You're up Schitt's Creek now, fucker. You're going down. You're going down, baby. Brady dies tonight.
Brady dies tonight.
They all die tonight except for Rachel and...
Except for Meeker and Rachel and Jamie.
I always
everybody
thought,
in this house except them.
I will say this. I thought Meeker was a terrific replacement for Brackett. And
he really
I thought
was.
Meeker was totally fucked over in Halloween 5. There wasn't enough
big
Meeker.
Time. No, big time.
Bo Star, right?
Yeah, Bo Star. For filling in the shoes for Brackett, he definitely is the sheriff. You believe it.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
I mean?
He does a great job.
This is my town. I'm going to protect you. Oh, yeah. If you wrote my daughter, I'm going to use that shotgun on you.
Oh, Bobby Hall says...
But yeah, you believe it.
Bobby Hall says, no, she's fine being topless. It was Mustafa Akkad who didn't want nudity. She's been nude in other movies. Oh, okay. Thanks, Bobby, for the clarification. Appreciate that. I knew there was something around that. So it was Mustafa that was the prude. Okay.
Well, Alan Howarth really did a good job on this. You know what I will say, what he did on this soundtrack and listening to it, and listening to it earlier on vinyl, he really did, with an late 80s sound, capture that original essence to what Carpenter did in the first film.
Yeah.
It's not so synthy like they did in the second film. It's more of a keyboard piano.
Right. Fuck off, Wade.
Brady, you died tonight. That's what's going to go on.
Wade. Did Wade die? Wade might still be alive.
Ooh.
We
can bring the characters
spin-off.
back in a new spin-off.
A Wade spin-off. I want to see a Wade spin-off.
There we go.
That's what I want to see. A Wade spin-off.
We got a new trilogy starting with the Halloween franchise. We're going to bring Ellie, Danielle, Wade. We're going to bring them all back. Yeah. It's going to be called Halloween Returns.
Yeah, and there's no Michael Myers. It's just returning. No. It's just returning characters from the franchise.
Everybody's returning.
Yeah, there's no Michael Myers. No. We just check in to see.
They think he's there, but he's really not there.
That's right. Or Wade dons the mask.
Wade.
Ooh.
Wade is seeking his revenge.
Wade dons the mask.
The night Wade came home.
Right. And the subtitle is "Fuck Off, Wade."
Fuck off, Wade.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's it. That's it. It's happening. It's happening, folks. It's happening.
This movie's what now? 30? A little over 30 years? 35?
33 years.
33? Yeah, 33 years. Damn.
Hard to believe.
Time flies.
Yeah, I do. I mean, again, looking at the aesthetic of this movie, I do like the way it's lit. I appreciate the effort into making it look like
using the candles and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a good creative choice because it forces you to play in the dark and there's and the way it's lit and stuff. It's it's well done from a technical standpoint and having a Halloween feel. Yeah, for sure. Anybody with the IQ over 6 can recognize that.
Nice blue lighting behind Brady.
Brady. The Brady Bunch. Here's a story of a lovely Brady who was Brady. He was Brady, but Brady. But he got his neck snapped by George P. Brady.
George P. Brady. What the fuck?
What does the P stand for in George P. Wilbur? Paul?
Penis.
Penis. George Penis Wilbur. No, George Paul? Patrick?
Oh, Paul.
Oh, Paul. I give you all. No keys, but please, my Paul.
Damn it.
This is cool too. When you see the Myers mask in the background, kind of like.
I was just about to say that it was years before I realized the Myers mask was in the background.
Oh, really?
Really?
Fascinating.
I mean, when I say years, I would say somewhere around maybe when H2O or shortly after H2O had come out is when I realized, like, oh, motherfucker, there's the Myers mask. And I remember I was watching it one night, it was like, probably during my October run of watching horror movies.
Yeah. And
I did like the Myers head tilt, like, wait, did I think what I think I saw? And I rewound the tape back. I'm like, motherfucker, it is.
Yeah, it's there for sure. Joseph Romado sends in $5, says, Halloween was the first horror movie I ever saw, accidentally. H4 was the first horror movie I watched to rid myself of my fear of horror movies. That's cute. That's funny. Something a kid would do. Or unless this was recently. I'm assuming you were a kid.
Yeah, Michael. I had never noticed it, back when I first watched the movie, and then watching it as many times as I did, especially in that first initial, like, discovering this movie and just rewatching it. I just never caught it, for whatever reason, and never saw it. And like I said, it was somewhere around the late 90s when I realized, like, oh, motherfucker, there it is.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because it only lasts for like a split second.
It does.
It's not very long.
No, but it's something that you would have seen in the original film. So that's why I'm always like, oh, that's cool. Like, there it is.
Yeah.
I like that.
There it is.
I mean, come on. Anybody watching this is going to go, yeah, that's cool. That's I mean, that's what Michael does, right? So it's kind of like, that's kind of cool.
Because I was so focused in on Rachel that maybe just because I wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
Yeah. We just focused on Rachel.
Absolutely. Rachel. My favorite Halloween girl.
Yep.
And I will say now, definitively, comfortably sitting in that number 2 slot is Andy Matichak's Allison character. Absolutely. She's, after watching Kills, she is definitively in the number 2 spot, ranking my Halloween girls.
I was going to say she had some cheesy lines, but everybody did. There was some poor dialogue in that movie.
Yeah, that's not her fault. I don't blame her.
There was like Star Wars prequel shit in there, and
she did her job, and she did. Well,
there was a couple performance issues, but like I said, she's not alone. I didn't like when she was standing there.
You're not alone.
I didn't like when she was standing there and she was talking to Karen, and then there's like this beat, and then this tear rolls down her cheek. She wipes the tear away and then leaves. It's almost as if she was waiting for the tear to fall, wipe it away, because there's like at least 3 seconds that she's just kind of staring off, pouting, and then all of a sudden you see a tear fall and she wipes it and then she leaves. And it's kind of like they were waiting for the tear to fall, to have more of a dramatic exit. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, but everybody, we'll talk about it. I do have issues. There's some good in there though. There's some good in there.
Cops do it by the book.
Scott Mariano sends in 499, says, Dave, you missed my super chat from earlier. I did? Oh, thanks for letting me know. Let me see. How much earlier? Let's go back here and see if I can see it here. I'll have to go over to the other page. Oh, there it is.
Dave's going to...
I got it. Thanks, buddy. Sends in 499, says, you can justify the mob in this movie more than the one in Kills because H2 is connected. Well, Tony was just talking about that.
I didn't. I did say someone said it. I just couldn't remember who said it.
Ah, there it is. There it is.
But yeah, that's who.
Very cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, the mob in this totally makes more sense than it does in Kills. The mob would make sense in Ends for sure. At that point, you want to bring it in, but yeah, in Kills, no, they should have held off on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I really hope that in subsequent watches of Halloween Kills, I can just forgive, certain things. Not forgive it because I like it or it's there. But you want to know what anthology movie now I want? I want Rachel sitting in front of this and she's starting a 900 number service. There you go. There it is. That's what
with her ham radio.
Yes. Why not?
The truckers.
Why not? But no, I hope I do because, you always, as a fan, you always want to like, certainly when they're connecting to the original, films and intent and all that kind of stuff. Although, like I said, there's evidence to suggest that they're kind of getting away from that a little bit in Kills. But, but man, there's a large part of the middle of Halloween Kills where it's just clunky. It's clunky. And it's all the hospital stuff. It's not the Meyer stuff. The Meyer stuff is generally great. It's the hospital stuff is clunky. It's the pacing of the movie is strange, and the dialogue is just way overselling at certain times. Like they're self-aware they're in a Halloween movie, and the evil dies tonight, and the whole it's just. And the social commentary with the subplot of the escaped mental patient that looks like Danny DeVito and then nobody with the IQ over 7 would absolutely mistaken him for Michael Myers. It's just so strange. It's just so strange. But anyway, like I said, we'll talk about that.
Kelly Meeker dies tonight.
Kelly Meeker dies tonight. She's dying tonight, baby. I'm coming back, baby. Mr. Bate sends in $4.99 and says, not sure if you know this, but supposedly Evil was going to die. I made the same quip earlier, buddy. Yeah, I was like, so I was a little confused. Can somebody tell me if Evil died that night? I wonder how many times it's going to be written in the novelization. I was going to make that tweet today, and then I thought maybe it was a little too early. Don't want to upset too many people.
I will say Kelly Meeker's death is a great kill. It's a very good kill.
From a kill perspective, sure, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's fun. Typical 80s slasher kind of kill. The eye holes in this mask are not cut out yet. It's a different mask than the one he's been wearing through the whole movie yet. See? The eye holes are not cut out wide yet. He looks different.
Must have been hard as hell for him.
I think that was Tom Morga. Was that not Tom Morga? Was that
Tom Morga playing Michael?
Yeah, in that scene? I think it was.
I keep forgetting that
Halloween
Tom Morga
4
does play Michael in this as well.
Yeah, well, he was the guy in the bandages too that does the thing.
Yep.
Can Halloween 4 enthusiasts or experts out there
confirm that for us?
Diehards, let me know. I believe that's Tom Morga. Frank Riker, my man, Frank, from the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast says, for Dave and Tony's favorite scene in Kills, the dead penis in the morgue at the hospital and the sexy motherfuckers in the chat. Yeah, that was Dr. Sartain's penis, I think. Who has a morgue where you could just walk down the hall and just look at dead bodies like that? I know people are like, well, there was a lot going on and they just could not shut up. Get out of here, you. I'm just like, what? It's like I'm looking in at my newborn baby. I'm like, oh, there's my baby. And I turn around and go, oh, there's my dead grandmother lying there. It did stand out to me as a little strange. And I think you could see Sartain's penis. Although I don't know if it had peanut butter on it, though.
Probably not.
Probably not. I had peanut butter on my penis. I went to see Michael Myers, and I asked him if he had peanut butter on his penis. All right, where are we going with this, doctor? Is his hand behind his head? Was his hand behind his head there, the cop?
I think
he was like, something like that. I love when he tries to shoot this. He's like, God damn it, it's hot. God damn it.
It's metal.
It's metal.
We're trapped in this house.
Metal, god damn it, it's metal.
It's metal. God damn it, it's metal.
Oh, Rachel. Here we go. Now we get the shape stock theme.
Here it comes. This is George P. Wilbur, right? Yeah. Here it is. I love how the gun jams.
Moron, you deserve to die.
He deserves to die.
Get up there, Rachel.
This is a good death. This is a good death.
Absolutely.
Fucking
Brady dies tonight.
Brady dies tonight. Brady
That's what you get
dies tonight.
For cheating on my girl.
Yep. Oh, yeah. He gets what's coming to him. There it is. Oh. Yeah. Michael's got that strength. Evil dies tonight.
Hey, you know, give Michael credit where credit is due. He's giving Brady a chance. He's like, look, man, I'm going to make you look good in front of your girl, okay?
Mm-hmm. He's giving him a chance. And Brady, listen, Brady goes out swinging, literally.
He does, like a man.
He goes out like a man. He's
wearing jeans.
He sort of redeemed himself. You know? He sort of redeemed himself right there. Steve McCoy sends in $2, says he stabbed her in the tits. Hate that line. Oh, and Halloween Kills. I laughed at it when I saw the screening. It's just because the guys are... I actually thought that... Well, and this was their job. The kids were supposed to be annoying little fucking kids.
Jamie throwing a sleeping bag down. Like, what's that gonna do?
Well, they probably were like, now you just throw all this stuff here. Because it's light,
I know.
right?
And she's light. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, she starts throwing like, wall units down there and shit. She's like fucking strong. Wasn't this Tony? Sorry, dude. I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't originally they wanted to have all this on fire too, like the stairwell or something?
It would have been a cool idea.
That would have been
they wanted the stairwell on fire. They wanted the whole roof. I wish they could have pulled it off. I really do, because that would have been very, very interesting to see. You know, with Michael going through the fire, they getting onto the roof with the whole house on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a great scene regardless, which I'm about to enjoy watching. I love watching this scene.
And it's only like 5 feet off the ground. They built a roof.
Yeah.
Only 5 feet off the ground.
I think it was a little bit higher than that. I think the pitch was like about close to 15 feet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But as far as to get up onto it was like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Such a good scene.
Yeah, because they're not really on an actual roof. They're on a. Yeah, because the roof was going to be on fire. It was like the whole thing was going to be on fire.
Really would have been a cool idea. For them to
that would have been really cool. That actually, from a visual standpoint, that would have been cool to see. Down she goes. Down she goes.
Now, I don't think that's Danielle Harris holding on to Rachel. I think that's now that is. I think there was a stunt person with Ellie in some of these scenes,
right?
If I'm not mistaken, and some was Danielle Harris as well. Like that's Danielle, obviously.
Yep.
I think lowering down, I think that's not Danielle Harris.
Right.
I think that's a stunt person.
Right.
God, I love this. And then her reaction.
I don't like the music. I don't like the way Michael comes over the edge of the roof there like a ventriloquist dummy. Like he's just too stiff.
It's not easy to climb a steep pitch roof.
No. But he comes over like Frankenstein, you know?
Yeah. Channeling his Boris.
Yeah, that's right.
I love the music. Just love everything about this scene.
Imagine if it was on fire. Frank Zaragoza, I think is how you say that, sends in $4.99, says, Dave, in regards to the Halloween franchise, we're chasing the dragon. We'll never get the first high we got from the original. Let's just enjoy it. I agree. I agree. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. That's what I said at the beginning of the show today, is that, but I don't think my expectations for what I wanted to see in Halloween 18 were unrealistic. There was a lot that Halloween 18 did well and did right. And there was a lot that I think there was some crucial, vital ingredients that you needed For me, not necessarily for you, but for me, in order for me to think that it was a good Halloween movie.
Not to cut you off, but just for a moment.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been really cool though, like with the fire when Rachel's hanging there?
Oh,
with
yeah.
the flames behind Michael.
Yes.
I was just thinking that while you were
100%.
answering that question.
Totally
and I was
agree.
Thinking like, man, because Michael is so back, he has got no light on him.
Yeah.
When he stands up, he's just very, and I just started thinking like, damn, if they could have pulled off that fire sequence and Rachel falls and Michael stands up with the house on fire. Oh, I'm just thinking how cool that shot would have looked.
That's right.
I need to go set a house on fire and take that photo.
That's right. Yeah. But well, what was I saying?
Regards to just enjoying it for what it is. Don't chase the dragon.
Right. And so now, but it's important to note, as I've said many times, when you say that you're making
on her face.
Yeah, when you're making a direct sequel to the original movie, which is what 18 is, right? There's certain things that I believe that should have been there. Some crucial things. There were some things that were there, but for me, there were some crucial things that weren't. So that brought it down for me. As I've said many times, I don't hate the movie at all, but that brought it down for me. And maybe in subsequent watches over the years, I'll like it more and more. Halloween Kills, same thing. So they're not unrealistic expectations. However, when you watch Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those are not connected to the original intent and the mythology of the characters. So you have to watch those from a different, if you're going to engage in watching the Halloween sequels and you're a purist like I am, you have to get into the proper mindset to do so. You cannot analyze and rank or watch or look at the series the same way, because it's not the same, because it's now become a franchise and it's become its own thing. So I never judge any of these movies based on the original film, because it's you just can't do that, right? You can't do that. However, when it comes to 18 and Kills, they're telling me that, no, we're going back. He's no longer supernatural and we're going back to the whatever. Well, then naturally I go, oh, okay. Well, then I expect, and it's not unrealistic, I expect to see this, and this. And then maybe I only see this and this, but I didn't see this and this. And this for me was really crucial. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. But everybody's different. Everybody can see certain things.
Michael.
Yeah, that's the blonde mask. That's the blonde mask right there. That's the how the
That's
fuck?
the return. That's the return of Ben Tramer.
To this day,
it's the return of Ben Tramer.
I do not believe for 1 second.
Nobody caught that?
Yeah, I don't buy it. I do not believe.
How does nobody catch that?
I don't believe it. I don't, you can throw, we were tired, it was a long day, it was late. I don't give a fuck. Bullshit. I don't believe for 1 second, because it's so obvious. It's not like, the mask looks the same, but we forgot the sideburns, or we forgot to cut open the eye holes or something. No, this is a completely different look. I do not buy it. Then you're telling me you're incompetent. Because
they're paying homage to Ben Tramer.
Yeah, maybe that's the excuse. I just have a very hard time believing nobody went, I just don't buy it. But I wasn't there, and who the hell am I to say that? That obviously was not Jamie falling down the stairs. Wow. You see that design on the wall behind Michael? It was like a little, it was like a character, and it had like its leg up. It was doing like a leg up thing. Can you imagine if he did that before he started walking down the stairs? He goes, woo, and he throws his leg up.
Great.
Myers. Mikael Myers. Mikael Myers. Is this supposed to be the same school where Samhain was on the chalkboard?
Did you say Samhain?
Yeah, that's how you actually say it. That's the correct pronunciation. It's not Sam Hain.
I don't think this would be the same elementary school.
No, but I mean, in the movie, is it supposed to be the same?
I guess, but maybe. It's not. I mean, but I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't. Haddonfield's supposed to be a small town, so I can't imagine them having too many elementary schools. Although, I mean,
that's true.
No,
that's true.
Small towns have a couple. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Well, except for my mom's town where she grew up in Connecticut, they only had one.
But yeah, no.
So I guess depending on how the narrative, how they wanted, I guess that would be the same that we would see Sam Hain, or the same school that was on the.
Yeah. Yeah, the correct pronunciation is actually Samhain or Samhain, I think. I did not know that. I actually learned that from Darren and Frank, who told me that a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. They were talking about it, and they had mentioned it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And sure enough, yeah, Loomis actually says it incorrectly. Samhain.
I got in trouble for showing my Samhain. Yeah. I do. Also, I like this, the truck sequence. Now, I get we really, really, really got to suspend our disbelief. The execution of it all, of getting Michael on the truck with Rachel and Jamie, is great.
Yeah,
how
cool.
It gets to that point,
it's cool.
I think you could have thought it out a little bit. I'm not saying that you couldn't. You could have had Michael in the road. You know, there's
so hang on a sec. So when the truck stops here, where's Michael? Is he hanging on the back secretly?
He's holding on.
I guess Michael is literally right now. Michael is hanging on the back of this truck. He's like hanging there. He's hanging there. Can you imagine?
He's hanging tough.
The cop doesn't see him. The cop doesn't see him, or is he underneath like Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I think the idea is cool because I think what it was
it is cool.
That the idea for there's a couple ways you could have done this. Like maybe at the schoolhouse, Michael could have taken out the guy's den and jumped onto the back of the truck while Rachel's driving off without Rachel knowing.
Right.
You could have done something along those lines. Yeah, I agree with you. Michael, this point, I mean, it was cool as a kid.
Oh yeah, it's
to
cool
watch,
for
but
sure.
As an adult, you're like,
I remember as a kid. I remember as a kid thinking the same thing. Hey, this is cool. I don't know how anybody in the cab and in the truck part doesn't hear this. And number two,
like
where was he?
The dude who's facing the opposite direction.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know.
But where was he?
I think they could have thought this out a little bit more. That's all.
It doesn't matter. He was underneath. He was hanging underneath like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Jeez, I wonder what that noise is.
You could have had them.
Now this was added. This neck.
Yeah, this was added because they wanted a little
more
bit
gore.
More.
Yeah,
but now
more Al
when
Gore.
we get to here and the music kicks in, I fucking love it. It's great.
I think it's
getting to that point.
I've always thought it was kind of cheesy when he smashes his face on the windshield, though. It just kind of looks silly, but yeah, no, I mean, in terms from it's very entertaining. It's very entertaining and it's a cool scene. Yep, absolutely.
God, I wish I could have a pickup truck like that to fucking. Yeah.
Didn't you try to look for one?
Couldn't find one. Just couldn't find one. I tried really hard to find one because I was going to duplicate this in photos with the 78 mask.
Right. It's got to be out there.
But I got to have someone trust me, like put a guy on top of the roof of his truck.
Right.
That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
See, I love all this. Like, it just visually, it's just entertaining. It's fun.
Oh yeah,
the music is great.
I agree. It's a great climax. It's we're in the third act now. The climax has started. It's great. I just think he looks silly there. He kind of looks like a Muppet when he puts his head onto the windshield. Just looks kind of silly, but.
Well, at least he sits up all right, not like he's a drunk idiot in H2O.
Well, he stands up here, though. That's true, but he's still very Frankenstein. See how he's kind of stiff and he kind of just turns? It's the shoulder pads. It's the shoulder pads, man. It's the shoulder pads.
You know what, though? That's the first time I actually am noticing the shoulder pads, and I'm wondering if he wore that specifically
for this
to take the impact.
Right. Well, that might not even been a real person. Might just been a dummy.
Or the fall down. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm wondering because, that's the first time in this whole movie where the shoulder pads really stand out. And I'm wondering if it's because when he falls down and does that shot just to protect him.
Right.
There we go. I don't believe Michael passed the power on to Jamie. I never thought that.
No, I don't. I don't know what they were going for here.
I think she just, her mother was dead. Her father was dead.
Right.
This is her only family left.
Right. So she's curious.
What I mean?
She's a curious child.
It's her uncle, like, why are you trying to hurt me?
Right.
I look at it like that.
He's not burned enough. That should be a stub. There should be no hands. Michael should not be able to hold a knife. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying, it's like, really, if you want to be serious about it, he should look like a burn victim. That was just fine. Yeah, it was fine. He gets fucking.
And then this really should be the end. I mean, really, it should be. There should be no more.
No man could survive.
Like, you're done.
This
you're
is
done,
just
dude.
so
you're done.
silly. It's just so, like, come on. Yeah,
it's a good ending. Yeah.
Listen, dude. I mean, I've always said that the ending of Halloween 4 is cool when you think about it from a franchise perspective, because it does. She's at the top of the stairs in the clown costume, and there's a bit of a full circle moment, right, where it's like, evil doesn't die. You can't kill evil. There it is, and it comes full circle.
Evil will not die tonight.
We begin with a little boy in a clown costume, and then we end with a little girl in a clown costume. It's full circle.
It's a
full
perfect
circle.
send off. It really is.
And although it's very dystopian, or very, kind of on a down note, the ending, and you're left with the girl at the top of the stairs and Loomis going, no. I mean, it's just.
No, it's like you said.
It's what it is.
Evil doesn't die.
Right.
It goes on no matter what. And that's it. And they never should have thought about this movie again or this franchise.
Never again. And then.
Until H2O.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But these
you can
movies.
Get away with H2O.
You could, but these movies aren't canon with H2O. Are they?
No, I know. No,
only 2 is.
You just have to get rid of 5 and 6, and you're right. Done. That's why my Halloween for me, or the way I watch Halloween, is I'll watch it 2 ways. I'll watch it 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, H2O.
I'll watch it 1.
Now I have to watch it 1, 2, 1, 18, and kills.
Yeah, if I was going to watch, films that are true to I'd go 1, 18 kills. If I'm feeling sort of just like, I don't know, I just want to watch some fun movies. Yeah, you go 1, 2, and 4, I guess.
That tub is still there, by the way.
Is it really?
I did see, I saw the tour of the house. And that tub is still in the Wallace's house. The Carruthers house.
Right.
I mean, the house is remodeled and looks different, but that tub from Halloween 4 is still there.
Fascinating. Here it comes. I'm turning it up.
I got that painting right up
Here we go. It's a cool moment.
Comes full circle.
Yeah, full circle. That should have been the end of everything. And then listen to the music that plays, or lack thereof. It's more of a soundscape that plays over the end credits. It doesn't change to some sort of alternative music or rock band song, whatever. It leaves you, the mood still, it's there, right? So watch. You cut to black, and now listen. Listen, hear that?
Yeah.
It leaves you with it. It leaves you. It lets you sit. It gives it some breathing room and lets you sit within that feeling, within that tone. And that just should have been the end of it all. It should have been the end of the series. Right there.
Absolutely.
That should have been the end of the series. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers from 1988. Tell us what you thought of it. Is it one of your favorite films in the franchise? Is it not one of your favorite films? Tell Tony and I below in the comment section when you get when you get a chance. All right, well, we got a few minutes here, maybe another 15, 20 minutes or so. Let's go over to the chat room and see what you guys are. I see a lot of no. And see what you guys and gals are saying. Where are you here? Where the fuck did you guys go? There you are. A couple super. Are those? Did I get those? No, some super chats are coming in. No, wait a minute. Are those super chats, or did I get those super chats? No, those are super chats I already got. I think those are super chats I already got. Right? Yes. Oh no, one did come in. The Dark Light sends in $5. Says, remember Tony Moran saying he declined Universal and H. Kills to use his face for scenes? You only see the mask past Moran's mouth and H. Kills not his face. Yep, that's true. That could very well be because of that. In order to use his likeness, you would have to pay for it. And if Tony is right, although Tony tends to exaggerate a lot of things, not this Tony Moran we're talking about, folks, in case you're just tuning in, then yeah, they would have had to have just, they could use everything except for his face, right? So that could be a reason why you saw that. Yep, could be a reason why you saw it. Joseph Wells says, Dave McRae, you're the best. Well, I don't know about the best, but I appreciate it. Southpaw 82 sends in $2, says, I got this feeling H ends will not be the end. Well, hey, and yeah, it probably won't be.
Money.
Although I have a feeling, what does it mean though, right? Again, here comes back to, well, what are we talking about exactly? Will it be the end of Michael Myers? I still believe Halloween Ends will likely be the end of this story as we know it, connected to the 1978 original. I really do. I don't think they're going to go on with other films with Allison and all that kind of stuff. I don't think they're going to. However, is it going to be the last Halloween movie? No. I think that although I don't know, it all depends on what Kills ends up doing and what Ends ends up doing and what the buzz is like. What's the feeling? Did they, H18 by and large was liked by a lot of people. And then H Kills is being more divisive. So will Ends be the middle ground? Will Ends come back to, having more rave reviews and the fans, or is it even going to be even more divisive? I mean, who knows? And if that's the case, they may be like, I don't know if we want to continue this thing. Because what do I always say? The more sequels you make, you're going to run into a shit show. However,
I'm curious how, I'm hearing that this is supposed to be now 4 years removed.
Yes, because guess what? David Gordon Green said he wants to have a post-pandemic world. So I'm just
so what
saying.
The fuck is Michael doing for 4 fucking years?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Okay.
He's working as a Walmart greeter in San Antonio.
I guess.
No, seriously.
I think he was on the right track of making this all one night. I really do. I think he had the right idea initially, setting this for you. Really, Michael's not dead. We know he's not dead. So what the fuck is homie doing for 4 years? Just sitting in his house, twiddling his thumbs?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
We'll find out next year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they start shooting in January. And so, they obviously have a script that they believe in and that it makes sense to them. The dots have connected for them. All right.
Michael dies of COVID.
Well, and I'm optimistic. I'm open because there's a lot of people out there that have thrown the same things at Bruce and I. How can the grandmother be alive in the basement? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't they've had a funeral? Doesn't make any sense. But Bruce and I, being the writers, are like, yeah, no, we understand why you would think that way, but we didn't make that decision
Wait a second.
arbitrarily.
Is he going to put? Wait, you said post-pandemic. Is he going to put COVID in this movie?
Yes, I think so. So all I'm saying is, but what I'm saying is, I can't speak for them. I'm just, to go back to my point, is I'm saying there's a lot of people that looked at the end of Billy and were really confused on how could you possibly continue it? I mean, how would you not know? How would you not know? Well, Bruce and I know we've connected all the dots because we're the writers, right? So I give Green the benefit of the doubt. I mean, him and his team obviously know, they've obviously connected the dots, even though we as an audience are like, geez, I wonder how they're going to do that, right? They've got answers. I just don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait until we can talk about this.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that.
I know.
We go to the movies or we watch movies to escape the bullshit of the world. I don't want the world to be brought into a fantasy, a fictional movie that we're there to be entertained. And
right.
If you're going to start bringing COVID into this situation, I gotta.
Well, to be like,
bad
again,
feeling about this.
I don't know if it's specifically COVID. Like it's not in terms of I'm not suggesting, maybe, because I don't know, but I'm not suggesting that he is suggesting that there's going to be people running around with masks on. I mean, I didn't get the impression that he's saying that. He's just using, again, he's just continuing the allegory of, and I think he's going to continue sort of the, now it's going to be a post-pandemic world, right? And what does that mean and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I just think that, anyways, I got to save it. I got to save it for kills because I do have a lot to say. I do have a lot to say. And the more it marinates, the more I have a lot to say. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Joseph Formato sends in $5, says, now I want the buddy serial killer movie with Jamie Lloyd and Michael Myers. That'd be fun.
Hell yeah.
That'd be fun. But it has to be Michael and, it has to be Jamie as a kid. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing's for damn sure, you can certainly bring back Dr. Loomis.
Well, that's true.
Damn, they did a really good job.
And that's all prosthetics. That wasn't
prosthetics. That's not CGI.
Rain. No.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. I mean, it helps.
I guess he's like his actually, his name is Tom Jones.
I know,
Jr.
Tom Jones Jr. Yeah. That's crazy.
Not unusual.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
And I guess he's like a construction worker, right, or some shit.
Yeah,
for movies and whatnot.
Yeah, he's a set guy. He builds sets, I think. So he obviously worked on 2018, and they were like, hey, we want to get you to, because his base look, like just the way he looks, yeah, I could totally, you put some prosthetics on him and you got a Dr. Loomis. I mean, he's a little bit of he's got a little bit of a rounder face. I think he's a bit stockier than Loomis was, than Donald.
It's as good as we're going to get.
But I believe it. I have no issues for the purposes of what they were doing. I have no issues. All right, what else? Let's see here. Sweet tea. The tea is sweet tonight, ladies and gentlemen. For the channel, my friends, P.S. I did not like the hospital scene in Killers. I think you meant Kills. Running after little man was a little crazy. 5'3" little man was a little crazy. Be safe too. Yeah, it was. Again, I understood the social commentary of what they were trying to do, but I just think I think we could have axed that. Although, again, when you are trying to build sort of about the fear and the stuff, like I get why it's there, but I just think maybe it would have been better if we had mitigated that a bit and focused maybe more on a few more kills or something. I don't know. Maybe a few more stalking moments. Maybe some more character development. DreamMem77 sends in $10, says, D&T, I like the 78 scene in H Kills. However, I didn't like the dialogue of the kids. It felt like dialogue that kids in 2021 would say and was pretty coarse. Took me out of the moment. Your thoughts? Oh yeah, when they were picking on Lonnie?
It was all right. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It felt very, boogeyman kind of thing, right? Like kind of little over the top. But it was fine. It was fine. I mean, it's the least of the film's problems for me. And it didn't take me out of the movie. Let's see. Joseph Wells says, Dave McRae, they shouldn't put COVID in Halloween Ends. Well, it all depends on what they're trying to say. And if I agree, they shouldn't put COVID in Halloween Ends, where people are running around in masks and all of a sudden now it's like Michael and COVID it's like, oh God, please just stop that nonsense.
I'm telling you what. Well, if I'm streaming it, I'll basically do what I did with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and I'll shut it off. If in the first 5 minutes I see or hear COVID off, I'm not going to watch it. No.
I get it. No, I totally get it. All right. That was Mr. Bates said that. And then what else we got here? We got The Dark Light. Sends in $2. Says Lori stabbed in stomach in H18, a deleted scene. Yes, it is yes, but we haven't seen it. Unfortunately, when Halloween 18 was released on 4K and Blu-ray, they didn't include the alternate ending, which would have showed you that. And so I don't think they're going to pack that on to the Kills shit. But you will see the original ending for Halloween Kills, which is kind of an extension of what is already there. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Can I share with you what I would have done with the ending of Halloween Kills? Because I have thought about this. Do
you want to tell me now, or do you want to save it for?
I can tell you now.
All right. He's excited, folks.
Yeah,
let's go.
I'm excited. Because that's my only gripe with the movie, was setting Michael up with that mob scene. And I was just like, okay, so you now made him invincible because he's been shot. He's getting beaten.
A lot of people have said that.
like your whole point was to get away from Michael being this invincible monster that he ultimately becomes as the franchise progressed. So you just went back and rehashed the same thing.
Right.
What I would have done is this: everything up until Karen saves Allison in the Myers house, stabs him with the fucking Jason pitchfork, all that. I would keep all of that. Everything is perfect up until that point.
Right.
Then what I take the mask off, fine. Lure Michael out of the house. As Michael's, gets closer to Karen in front of the Myers house, they don't go walking through the alleyways and whatnot. Tommy catches Michael by surprise. Okay. And it's just Tommy.
Right.
Because you're building this whole thing between Tommy and Michael, which ultimately was a huge letdown in what the payoff we got in the end in the movie. There was nothing. Tommy got a few licks in and that's it. Like that's all we're going to get. Yeah. Not only that, but dude, how many of us are going to come swinging in with one arm open, leaving ourselves vulnerable to, if you're going to swing a bat, you're going to swing with two hands.
Right.
Anyways. So you got Tommy and Michael in front of the Myers house, duking it out, making your audience think, "Oh shit, Tommy's going to get the upper hand," but ultimately doesn't. Michael, takes out Tommy. But in that process, Karen is taking Allison to safety. She's getting, out of the way. Waves down a car, puts her daughter in the back seat, tells her to take her to Haddam Memorial Hospital, but she's going to go back for Tommy. And Allison's like, "No, you need to stay." She's like, "No, kind of like an homage to H2O with Jamie Lee Curtis to Josh Hartnett's character. I'll be back. I promise I will be back." Right. Karen goes back to the house. Okay. She sees Tommy laying in the street. He's, barely alive. She rolls him over. She realizes he's dying, and you get a nice tight shot on Tommy's eyes, and his eyes begin to like wide open seriously. Right. And it just goes silent for a split second, and then you hear Michael breathing, and he's behind Karen. Right. Slits Karen by the throat. Karen falls over. Right. There's no stabbing. Right. So she's dead. And then you hear the Myers theme start to play slowly, and Michael's head begins to look up, and he looks to Judith's room, and that's when you see the 6-year-old silhouette of Michael Myers in the clown costume, which is a full circle callback to what the cop was saying in the flashback sequence. What was Michael looking out at, from his sister's room? We always wondered what he was he was seeing what he knew, what he ultimately was going to become. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So you got young Michael looking, or you got older Michael looking up at young Michael.
Great symbolism.
And
that's really good. That's really good, Tony. I'm impressed. That's really good.
In the moment when Karen gets her throat slit, you can do a quick cut shot to the hospital. Right. And you just see this look on Laurie's face, like she knows something has just happened, but she doesn't know, like that mother instinct. Right. You don't overplay it. You don't, just like a real quick thing, and then boom, you cut it. You're done.
You know what? I got to give you props, man.
I thought about this thoroughly.
Because you know me in terms of the symbolism and to have Michael turn and look and see himself. Is deep. That's deep, dude. That's deep, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Do you know what?
It makes total sense.
The one of the biggest, and again, I'm speculating, but one of the biggest problems I feel is that there is such a focus and such a determination to make sure that this social commentary gets into these movies that I think that it's at the detriment of things like this. Developing the legacy characters, allowing, because I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to save it. We'll talk about it. But and
if you really wanted to throw like a super Easter egg, as Michael's looking at himself as young Michael, you can faintly even play Loomis's dialogue. "I met this 6-year-old child."
Ah, you could do that. You could do that.
You could totally, as the movie's fading out. Yeah. And you could close the movie with, "I knew what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely, simply evil." Right. Because my takeaway from Halloween Kills is this. Right. What I loved most about it is that it broke the umbilical cord of Michael and Laurie. That it's not about her. Right. For her, it's about her. She manifested this whole thing. Right. But with Michael, no. If you're in the way, you're done. It has nothing to do with you.
You see, and that's the thing too, is that, and I'm going to say this because every time you talk, I'm like, no, I need to say this. So again, I'm not against, and I don't think anybody is, against social commentary in horror movies. Social commentary has been in horror movies for decades. When it's done well, it's done under subtext, and it affects you in an emotional way, and sometimes you don't know why, and sometimes it can be overt, like Get Out or Us or whatever. That is the point, is to deliver a very overt, clear message, and sometimes it's under the radar. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've always believed, and I have no evidence of this. It is purely speculation. So if I am genuinely, like, actually wrong, I will own it and apologize to Jamie Lee Curtis. No issues whatsoever. But I can't help but feel that that Jamie needed, I have trouble believing, and again, I'm open to being wrong, but I have trouble believing that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride from inception, so I mean inception from before H-18, when they were writing H-18, that they wanted to write this grand 3-arc play where the overarching theme is this social commentary about 3 women rising up against oppression and how fear affects, town and misinformation. And I'm not saying that there wasn't some of that in there, but I think what's happening is that because of Jamie Lee Curtis, and again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm totally open to being wrong and eating this, okay? But I can't help but feel that, and I only get this impression because of how much she drives it into your head any opportunity she gets when she's doing press junkets. Every interview, she's talking about, and she's reminding you what it's really all about now. Don't forget, this is about trauma. Don't forget, this is about trauma. Don't forget, this is about trauma. Don't forget. It's like, holy fuck, lady. Like, and okay, and there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, but
hey, Dave, is it about trauma?
I don't know. It's about trauma. I mean, she says that way more than Evil Dies Tonight.
I know.
And I can't help it. And in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But I can't help but feel that in order to get Jamie back on board, there may have been a situation, because she's also an executive producer, don't forget. There may be a situation, and again, I'm purely speculating. I acknowledge this, okay? Don't take this as a fact.
I think your gut instinct, you're in the ballpark.
But don't, please, viewers, don't run out into social media and say, Dave said this and this is what it is. Don't say, I'm speculating. I'm just simply saying that I can't help but feel that maybe it was a criteria for Jamie to come back, because she's played this fucking role how many times? She doesn't need to come back. She doesn't need it. And for her to come back and play this role, there needed to be an angle to this movie and to this character and to this role that she could be passionate about. Otherwise, she's thinking to herself, I don't want to play fucking Laurie Strode again. But no, but it's about this Laurie Strode. And it's like, oh, well, because she's a social activist. She's all about that kind of stuff in her real life. So, so it's art imitating life. So naturally, she's very passionate about it. It'd be like me playing a voice actor in a movie. I mean, it's just like, what? Yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? And so, I can't help but feel that some of this real heavy stuff that they're trying to get into this movie, like Halloween Kills, I think is, for me, is trying to tell so many things. There's a tonal imbalance, because there's some people that say, well, it's supposed to be campy dialogue. Well, yeah, then just have it as a campy slasher. Don't have this deep, social commentary about this, because when you're pulling in so many directions, it's that saying where if you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. And I think that's what's kind of happening here, is that they're trying to get so much in there where it's kind of like, why don't we get rid of the escaped mental patient, but then we're not going to have this social commentary about how there's this mob that, doesn't realize that it's not him, and it's all about, misinformation and how misinformation no, but that's what it is. And
I know. Believe me, I know.
And there's nothing,
I know.
There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, right? There's nothing wrong with it in and of itself, but maybe, just maybe, we should kind of push that over there. It gives us back 10 fucking minutes. And maybe in that 10 minutes, we could build more on kind of like what you're saying. Build up the legacy characters more. Have a stalking scene. Let's have another death. He goes to another neighbor's house, and maybe we have another great thing there, or whatever it is. And I'm not saying get rid of the social commentary. That's not what I'm suggesting. I just can't help but feel that it's getting deeper and deeper and more serious and dramatic than it needs to be for this for a Halloween film, in terms of this way. And maybe that's only because it's very overt. Maybe it needs to be more subliminal. Maybe they're just too on the nose with stuff, and maybe they need to kind of just cut that shit out and just make it more subtext, and it's not easy to do, but I think there's a tone problem here. 1 minute it's this kind of a horror movie, then it's this kind of a horror movie, then it's this kind of a horror movie, and it's like, guys, this is not working. Not for me. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. There's some great fucking shit in Halloween Kills. Absolutely there is. But there's this chunk where I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is this? What are we doing here? So
yeah, that's why I wish I could have sat with.
That's a better ending.
I wish I could have sat with them and just say, hey, listen, guys, you're building this whole thing up between, where Tommy's going to get Michael, and this payoff is not like, one, you're now going into the territory that you said you didn't want to go into. You're making him invincible.
Right.
Okay. You're making him this invincible force that he's not going to be killed. I don't care if you want to call it the curse of Michael Myers or transcending Michael Myers. It's the same fucking thing. You can reword it however you want. It's the same fucking thing.
Right.
But what I had just described, I said that would have had more of a symbolic ending. And yeah, like someone had said here not too long ago, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, like the whole Michael showing young Michael in his room, honestly, it made no sense. Where it would have made sense is, like I said, if you could have done the ending that I described, and it's Michael standing over the bodies of Judith, Karen, and Tommy, and he's looking up to Judith's room.
That's right.
Now that would make a lot more sense to have young Michael standing there silhouetted, as and young Michael's just looking out. He's not looking at older Michael. It's older Michael looking at young Michael. And
I understand.
And it's Michael's memory. And that would have made a lot more sense than to just shoehorn in that ending there, and then we get it just gets even. The ending just completely fell apart for me, because then Karen, why are you going up into Judith's room? To be fair, maybe it will all make sense once we get to ends, right? I mean, maybe it will. Maybe we're like, oh, that's what was going on, or that's maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe that's the case. But as what's his face here? As somebody in the chat here said, Michael King said it. There you go. That's who said it.
Well, that's who said it?
Yeah, and
Michael
I agreed
King?
with you, Michael. Yeah. And it totally, like, young Michael showing up in this film was like, there was nothing, but if it was done that way, that would have been totally like, whoa.
But that's the thing, is that there's nothing, again, and anybody who has issues with social commentary, some of your favorite horror movies have social commentary. It's not the social commentary that's the problem. I think they're making it too overt. They're turning it, they're making it too on our conscious mind, rather than like they're bringing it to the surface rather than keeping it underneath, and using symbolism and cinematic language to affect you on a subconscious level. The best social commentary is often told that way. And because it's still a horror movie after all, and we still need to entertain, and we still need to, and if you're going to bring back legacy characters, don't bring them back just to kill them. I mean, Jesus Christ, these are like come on here, right? I mean, there wasn't even a scene between Laurie and Brackett. There wasn't even a scene between Lindsay and Laurie. I mean, there wasn't, like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
like,
you're right. Now that you mentioned that, there wasn't a scene between Laurie and Brackett.
There wasn't, and there wasn't a scene between Lindsay and Laurie either. So I just feel
Lindsay's still alive, right?
She's still alive. Absolutely. So there still could be. There still, could be, and likely will be in the next film if Kyle Richards returns. But again, it's just those things where I sit back and I think, I get what you're doing. I don't know if it's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Saying that, I didn't even realize Brackett and Laurie didn't have a. Now that you say that, it didn't dawn on me.
No.
Holy balls. Like that. Talk about a wasted fucking moment.
Absolutely. Shit. Yeah. Wasted. And again, it's not that I don't get it or I don't understand what they're doing. And it's not that at all. It's just watching the movie. I see what you're doing, but maybe if you had been a little less on the nose. Like it just feels like there's such a need to let you know what this is really all about: trauma and generational trauma and oppression and rising up and facing your evil. And it's like, yeah, but you don't have to be so on the nose about it. Put it under the radar, make it subliminal, make it symbolic. Use cinematic language and symbolism to let us know. So we go, oh, fuck, I get what's going on here. Cool. Okay. Because then you can concentrate on those other things. Because if you have to make it overt, you have to spend more time and more screen time telling that story. And that's where I think it's, and so and the more they remind us about all this, the less I'm convinced that the town would be this crazy over something that happened 40 years ago to 3 people. I'm just, because H2's not canon, right? So I'm just like,
exactly.
Geez, would they? The crazier and crazier people become, the less and less I'm convinced of it. And so, again, these are just my opinions. You can agree with them or not, whatever. You're entitled not to agree with them, of course. But again, on subsequent watches, maybe I'll just have to settle in and go, well, this is what it is. And it's not going to bother me. Now, I have no issues with some of the suspense. It was great. I have no issue with the kills. I understand what we're doing here. It's Halloween kills.
The kills. The kills are
the
great.
Flashback was fucking great.
Should I share my story?
The first 20 minutes was great. It was great. No, save it for next or for no, save it. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good story.
It is.
If it could have been videotaped, it would have been perfect.
Would have been fun. Tommy,
but yeah, I mean, all the things that you're saying. I mean, like even like I will say this though. I'll save that story. But this story, it's more on a personal level. There are 2 songs that my grandfather always played for my grandfather. One was Islands in the Stream, Dolly Parton.
I like that
Kenny
song.
Rogers.
That's a good song.
And the other one was the fucking Anne Murray song that was being played. Could I Have This Dance? When I heard that, so I told my brother, I was like, bro, you need to, there's a moment in the movie. You're going to know, because I mean, we heard this growing up.
Right.
And he said, Anne Murray. I was like, yes. As soon as I heard that, I was like, this is such a deep cut right now. And it's my the grandfather who I watched the Friday the 13th movies with. And I was just like, of all the fucking songs that I'm listening, I'm like, Michael Myers is an Anne Murray fan. So
hey, does that mean Michael Myers is Canadian? Anne Murray is Canadian. Uh-oh.
She is. Good old Canadian country singer, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. Cody Snyder sends in $5, says, for the community, rocking it as always. Waiting for Monday nights is rough again. Like when I was a kid waiting for Nitro and Raw every week. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that we can entertain you each and every week. That's very nice. Nathan, Demons maybe? Sorry if I'm butchering that, buddy. Sends in $1. Thank you very much, Nathan. Appreciate that. And I think that is... Oh, wait, no, another super chat here. Tommy Ricknell sends in €5, I believe, and says, Halloween ends. COVID dies tonight. COVID dies tonight. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, is that I don't know if David Gordon Green said the words COVID or said the word COVID, but I do know he used the words or the word pandemic. So just keep that in mind. But I'm sure you could find the article online. Just find it'd be easy to find. It might have even been with Collider.
Do you have a favorite kill in this? Kills?
I want to do a kills sort of list for my channel soon, like best kills and kills. So I'll tell you off air.
Okay. For me, it was, the boyfriend, the douchebag boyfriend getting it and the way he got it. That was just like, that was so rewarding. And the fact that like, he's still kind of
messing
alive.
Around with him too.
I know. And Michael's like, yeah, I'm all right. You ain't done yet, boy. You ain't done. And then she's like, no. And he's like,
that's it. That's it.
Your dude is dead. Yeah. The other one I liked was at the beginning after he kills the fireman with the old couple, and you're seeing Michael create his work with the knives, and he's repeatedly stabbing the guy with the knife. Like me and Devin were talking about that when he watched it on Sunday with me. We're like, you're now normally we see the after part when Michael sets up the body.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Like, Annie's laying there with the tombstone. Linda's in the closet. Bob's hanging upside. Like we only saw that. We saw the afterwards. We never saw him, the setup part. So it was really cool that they did that. And I also liked how it was kind of a rack out of focus shot too, where Michael's just sort of kind of just
Right. Yeah. Oh, no. That was really cool. That's a cool moment. And it was eerie too, because, she's essentially watching her. I mean, she's basically almost dead.
She's almost dead.
And she's watching, her husband is dead. And she's just watching Michael almost like test out knives. Like, which one pierces flesh
like
better?
You're watching him, because there is almost like a childlike mind Michael
for sure
at times, and you're watching that, and we had never seen that before, and I was like, that's creative.
I think he uses his left hand again. Oh, no, it's his right hand. Yeah, that's right. Sweet Tea sends in another super chat. Hey, thank you, Sweet Tea. The tea continues to be sweet tonight, and says, Dave and Tony, so true, my friends. Thank you so much, Sweet Tea. Really, really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that very much. Well, listen, folks, that is going to do it for Tony and I here on episode 128 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Thank you to our great moderators, Frank Riker, Tap of the Short, Darren Sands, Chris Faber, for doing what you guys do. Really appreciate that very much. Thank you for all the super chat questions that came in today, of course. Really appreciate that as well. Tony and I will be back next Monday night at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're watching the original, the only, the one, the only, the classic,
and
Halloween.
And mark it on your calendars. So we're going to tell you guys ahead of time now on Halloween night.
That's right.
We'll probably do it a little bit later,
yes.
Not super late, but we'll give the parents a chance to do trick-or-treating with your kids, and we're going to watch Halloween Kills on Halloween night.
That's right. Yeah. Halloween Kills on Halloween night. Mark it, Halloween night, Halloween Kills with Dave and Tony. And next Monday night, it's Halloween, the original, 1978. Have a great rest of your night, folks. Talk to you soon. Cheers.